It was supposed to be just another ordinary day. Shen Yue stepped into the sunlight, her smile soft, her eyes bright. But there was something new, something subtle, glimmering quietly on her finger. A ring. Not just any ring. It was delicate, elegant, catching the light in a way that made it impossible to look away. Fans noticed it immediately. Not because it was flashy, but because it was the kind of piece that whispered a story. The kind that begged a question. Where did it come from? And suddenly, the internet exploded. Within hours, posts began circulating. Screenshots of the ring, zoomed in carefully, were shared across fan forums and social media pages. Is this a gift? Could Dylan Wang have given it to her? Are they together? Speculation became frenzy. Because when it comes to Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, even the smallest detail becomes a headline. Even the faintest glance sparks 1,000 theories. The ring itself seemed to hold secrets. It wasn't just a circle of gold. It wasn't merely a sparkly jewel. It was personal. It was intimate. It had the kind of presence that suggested careful thought. A story behind every facet, every tiny engraving, even if no one knew what it said. And when fans compared it to previous photos, to casual glimpses of jewelry Dylan Wang had been photographed wearing, the theories multiplied. Some claimed it was from a brand she loved. Others whispered it was vintage, something rare and hard to find. But the timing, the way it appeared suddenly, right after weeks of absence, and a period of quiet between the two, that made people wonder. Because Dylan Wang wasn't the type to be subtle. Or so fans believed. It was the kind of mystery that fueled conversations for days. Even media outlets jumped in, carefully worded headlines appearing online. Shen Yue's new ring sparks rumors. Dylan Wang connection? Fans spot potential secret gift on Shen Yue's finger. Is love hidden in plain sight? And as always, the fandom split into two camps. Those who believed in the possibility, and those who thought it was coincidence. But to understand why this moment was so captivating, you have to look at the history between these two. Dylan Wang, with his calm confidence and quiet charm, had always had a way of showing care that didn't need to be loud. He didn't chase headlines. He didn't flaunt affection on social media. Yet those closest to him knew. He remembered the smallest details, noticed the smallest things, and held them quietly, patiently, until the right moment. Shen Yue, on the other hand, was radiant in her independence. She carried a gentle confidence, a kind of grace, that made people naturally drawn to her. Together, they had shared moments that the cameras rarely captured. The laughter behind the scenes, the subtle gestures on set, the quiet comfort in their shared silences. And every time those moments leaked, even slightly, fans were captivated. So when the ring appeared, it felt like more than just jewelry. It felt like a message, a small, beautiful declaration, that someone had been paying attention, that someone cared deeply enough to choose something meaningful. And the timing, just after a week of intense filming, with the two often in separate locations, added a layer of intimacy fans couldn't ignore. The internet began dissecting every frame, every angle, every reflection of the ring. Was it on her right hand or left? Was it worn casually or deliberately displayed? Could it signify something deeper than admiration? Something the public hadn't yet been told? Every detail became a point of analysis. Every fan theory a mini-novel. Meanwhile, in private, Dylan Wang's thoughts were simpler. He didn't plan for headlines. He didn't care for speculation. All he cared about was her happiness. Every gift, every gesture, was carefully considered, not for show, but for the subtlety that spoke directly to her heart. Because true affection, he believed, wasn't proven in grand statements, but in quiet, meaningful moments. And the ring was exactly that. It was quiet. It was deliberate. It was personal. It spoke without words, carrying the weight of thoughtfulness, of admiration, and of feelings that had grown steadily over time. Fans began to speculate further. Had he chosen the gemstone for a reason? Was the band shaped in a certain way to symbolize something? Was this the first public hint of a deeper bond? Rumors spread like wildfire. And yet, the beauty of it all was that neither Dylan Wang nor Shen Yue needed to explain. The ring did its work silently. It told a story that only the observant could read. Even stylists and insiders weighed in. Fashion analysts noted how the ring complemented her outfit perfectly, how it drew attention in a way that felt natural, effortless, as though it had always belonged there. And in that small detail, fans saw intimacy. They saw connection. They saw love. The weeks that followed were filled with subtle signs. Photos surfaced, Shen Yue casually touching her ring, gazing at it with a soft smile. Fans noted the way her expression seemed almost reflective, almost as if remembering a private joke, a quiet moment shared with someone special. The media speculated endlessly. Rumors circulated, but the two of them remained quietly present, never confirming, never denying, letting the ring speak instead. And it did speak, because even without words, love has a way of making its presence known, through a ring that catches sunlight in a particular way, through subtle glances on set, through shared laughter that seems to exist in its own private world. Even when the world is watching, true intimacy finds its moment. Months later, the discussion about the ring hadn't faded. Fans had created threads dedicated entirely to it, analyzing photographs, theorizing about symbolism, wondering whether the next chapter would reveal even more. Yet what kept the fascination alive wasn't curiosity alone. It was hope. Hope that love, in its quietest and purest form, still exists even amidst fame, chaos, and endless speculation. And for Dylan Wang and Shen Yue, that hope was theirs to keep. Because whether it was coincidence or intention, the ring had become a symbol of connection, of thoughtfulness, of affection unspoken. A reminder that even in a world that often demands spectacle, the most profound gestures are the ones meant only for each other. Fans began to notice another pattern. In interviews, on set, and even in casual appearances, Dylan Wang seemed to glance at her just a fraction longer than usual. And Shen Yue, though discreet, responded with the softest of smiles, subtle enough that only the most attentive would notice. And every time they did, the ring seemed to catch the light again, as if acknowledging the quiet understanding between them. The speculation reached new heights when a behind-the-scenes clip surfaced. Shen Yue was adjusting her outfit. Dylan Wang's hand moved closer, not in a showy gesture, but in a natural, protective, familiar way. Fans froze the video, replayed it, debated it. And still, the ring remained the center of attention. Not because it was flashy, not because it screamed romance, but because it suggested something deeper, something unseen, private, real. Social media exploded. Posts titled, "The Ring That Changed Everything," and "What Dylan Wang Gave Shen Yue" spread like wildfire. Fans began sharing edits, slow-motion clips, and analyses, linking every glance, every smile, back to that single, gleaming circle on her finger. Even those who weren't dedicated followers paused, mesmerized by the quiet power of the moment.